Hello everybody and welcome back to the EcoPosh for You YouTube channel. And today we are going to be talking about partial refunds again. I was kind of waiting for people to start complaining about it on the forums, and it has begun. So let's take a look at it and see what everybody's main complaints are. And like I said, I was waiting for the complaints to start rolling in. At first, I was kind of excited about it because I thought, okay, well, maybe this is another tool for us to be able to resolve these disputes. But after thinking about it a little more, I don't know. I thought this is maybe not the best idea here. So let's take a look at this post that I found on a forum, and then let's take a look at some of the comments that I think are very good and make good points. So, let's talk about the new partial refund policy. When Poshmark rolled out the partial refund option, I felt it was a mistake. It's going to be just like eBay, where buyers threaten bad ratings and blackmail over partial refunds. I was right. It only took 1 week for me to get my first request. In 7 years, I have only had one return and a couple of bogus cases I won. In this case, I looked the necklace over carefully before listing and again before shipping. I'm not salty I was asked for a partial refund, but I'm upset because it was unwarranted in this case. I replied and told the buyer I do not offer partial refunds, but politely expressed I was sorry if I missed something, and they have the option to submit a return case to Poshmark. I have also contacted Poshmark support and asked them to reconsider this new option, because it doesn't come out of their 20% cut. Poshmark should have to readjust the margins if they expect us to submit a partial refund. I'm not giving them my 20% and a partial refund to the customer on top of that. If you feel the same way, I urge you to contact Posh support and voice your opinion over this new partial refund policy. It's only a matter of time before we're all getting bogus requests. So this is something that I was also, after giving it some thought, I thought, okay, this is going to be a problem. And for the exact reasons that were mentioned here. I feel like people are going to be using this to scam. And if you haven't seen my podcast, Word on the Poshmark Screaks, I actually dedicated a lot of, I don't remember if it was all of it, the entire episode, or a lot of it to talking about, it was episode 3, and I spent most of it talking about partial refunds and just why, I don't know, I was not particularly excited about them. I feel like it's gonna be, we're basically, you're already negotiating a lot of times at the beginning. I feel like most of the time somebody will send an offer or you send them an offer. It does happen, but it doesn't happen often where somebody just buys something outright from your closet without either bundling or, some kind of interaction where there's negotiation. And that part is already, for most of us, kind of annoying to deal with, especially, those lowball, people. And if you haven't seen my video on that, but it's already enough to negotiate at the beginning, and I feel like this is going to make it a negotiation at the end as well. And people are going to be leaving bad reviews and being crappy about things because you didn't give them, their little couple dollars off that they wanted. And I think that there are definitely some demons on here that are going to be abusing that, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. I can see why we're all very not excited about this. Like I said, the negotiation should already be done with by the time we ship it out. Now we've got to negotiate twice. We've got to do this haggling crap twice. I'm not excited about that. I don't know anybody who is. Why? That's what we all woke up and said this morning. We need more issues with the buyers. That's what I want when I wake up in the morning. I want to deal with people more about stupid things. That's what I want. Said nobody ever. I don't want to spend any time arguing with somebody because they want $2 off a $6 item or something stupid like that. That's where I see it going. And I'm just like, why? And another point that I think is fair is that they mention the 20%. I think all of us know that Poshmark, the 20% is a little bit higher than a lot of platforms. But I also know a lot of us didn't mind and don't mind the 20% because they dealt with a lot of stuff for us. The shipping's better. They, in my experience and in a lot of people's experience I've talked to, they side with the the shipper, the seller. So I feel like they side with us more of the time. At least in my experience. You may have a different opinion, and if you do, you could feel free to put that below, because I would love to hear different opinions than what I've gone through on here on Poshmark. But yeah. But that's the reason most of us that do continue to put our stuff on here knowing that they take the 20% out is because it's worth it to us to not have to deal with X, Y, and Z like you have to on other platforms. And now they want to take the 20% out and not deal with all the stuff they were dealing with, which means, why are we even here? Is how I'm feeling about this. And here is an example before we get into the comments that kind of is an example of what people are starting to send. So this was received from a buyer. The item had scratches on the bow. I'll still keep the item because it works so well with my outfit for wedding rehearsal dinner. But if I could get a little credit for it because it was described as in excellent condition. If you might be willing to give back a little money for what I paid, but not a full refund. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. No, you do not need to keep 20% if we're going to be getting messages like this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can already. And today I sent something off, like probably the most expensive thing that I've sold since the partial refund thing. And I'm just waiting. I'll let you guys know. But, yeah, please no. Please no. And you know, when you tell somebody, no, I don't want to give you a partial refund, I can already see it. You know, to me, usually the most unfair refund requests are for fit. Because everybody knows you can't return on Poshmark for fit. And especially when people take measurements and the pictures of the size tags, all of that. Like, you definitely shouldn't be returning it for fit and letting them return it for fit. Now, I can see this being the new thing, okay? This is going to be the new unfair thing that gets you a bad rating on Poshmark. No longer are people going to be returning for fit. They're going to be returning because you won't give them $2 off a freaking $6 shirt. So be prepared, people. Prepare your inbox. But please write Poshmark a letter. You can send them a message on Twitter. You can send them a message on Facebook. Like, send them I would recommend any social media you have, send them a message there, and then also send an email to support. Because no. This is not cool. This is not cool at all. Like, this is going to be a freaking pain. So, now let's take a look at some of the comments and see how other people are feeling about this partial refund thing, shall we? Okay, so here's one of the comments, and unfortunately it looks like people are starting to kind of go through this partial refund thing, and it says, "This just happened to me as well. I sold a Chanel Bonbon handbag. Very good vintage condition, but had some marks on the bag which I described in my listing and showed in photos. Upon the delivery of the item, according to the USPS delivery time, this buyer immediately reached out to Poshmark and opened the case. Furthermore, immediately asked for a partial refund. This is going to be a nightmare. I second that, ma'am. I'm going to go to other platforms to sell. I'm not tolerating this. Poshmark making a huge mistake. Poshmark will not have any sellers, only multiple cheap buyers. Woo! And she's right. And this comment I really like because it raises, I feel like, a valid question. In reading their description of the new partial refunds, I am guessing the new owners feel like they should not have to cut into their 20% and refund buyers when something legit goes wrong with an order. As a buyer, I have had a couple of items, had to open a case. Once I received Posh credit, and another time I was refunded and the buyer still paid. Does this potentially violate their terms of service? And this might be something worth questioning. And I do have some thoughts on that, but I am going to do a little research, and we might be making that the next episode of Word on the Poshmark Screeks. Alright, I like this lady, because she left another comment, so we're going to read that one too. It says, I haven't been on Posh much lately, so I was unaware of this change that only further harms sellers. When they rolled out offers to likers a few years ago, I didn't like that either. It only served to buyers to see how low a seller would go, and Posh took their cut on the selling price before the shipping reduction was added. I never understood why we had to offer free or reduced shipping in order to use the feature. When they sold Posh to the Korean corporation, I thought something like this was going to happen. What's next? Allowing returns for fit? Making us pay return ship? Also, I avoid using the term excellent condition when describing an item, even if it is in excellent condition. Condition descriptions, in my opinion, are subjective. What may be excellent condition to me is very good condition to someone else, and if there is any minute flaws, the buyer might push their luck. If an item is in excellent condition, in my opinion, I usually downgrade to very good, especially on items that have been used. I would rather a buyer be pleasantly surprised the condition is better than described, hopefully. And I feel like this is an excellent piece of advice. This is a comment that I see a lot of, so I'm going to go ahead and look at it. And it says, the best thing I could say about Poshmark over eBay was no partial refunds and limited return window. Stupid constant sharing, but don't use a bot thing is also the biggest hypocrisy on all of online selling. And I think that this partial refund is really going to... it's not being received well. Next comment reads, I 100% agree that this will enable bad behavior across the board and ignite a partial refund battle for us all. This is clearly Poshmark realizing how much money they were losing by paying both buyer and seller to make both parties happy, and now they are dumping it on us. It's terrible. Poshmark is losing its way. And then it goes on, people, to kind of complain about it, and then they start complaining about the Posh shows again, which, let's not even go there. It's all I can do already to deal with this partial refund business tonight. So, anyway, I guess we'll see what happens, right? Hopefully they will get enough feedback to where they decide to not do this anymore. So I'm hoping if you hear this that you will be contacting support to let them know that this is a terrible idea and we hate it. So hope that you guys have had a wonderful day, and hope that you guys are making lots of sales. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next time.